Welcome back to My Opinion. So, let's talk about Jacho. Does anybody out there other than people in the healthcare industry know what Jacho is? So we are Advanced Biomedical. We are a medical provider. We're a service for medical providers. And it's such a complicated thing that we do that I actually have a trademark phrase that I use. So when I get asked, what is it you do? I'll put it very simply to you guys. We certify, calibrate, maintain, and repair medical equipment to FDA and regulatory standards. I'll say that again. We certify, calibrate, maintain, and repair medical equipment to FDA and regulatory standards. That is something that I created to give people a general idea of what we do. Now, do we do much more than that? We do. We do sales, which is important. We also do consulting. If you're a new surgery center and you want to get in, we do consulting. So, as you understand, biomedical engineering also has a misconception at times. They think we do bioengineering, which is not what we do, right? We do medical equipment, certification, calibration, and repairs. But let's go back to Jacho, the Joint Accreditation Hospitals Organization. Joint Accreditation Hospitals Organization. So they made sure that the facility that hires them is meeting a standard that was put out in literature that is a hodgepodge of AAMI, AAMI, DHS, and FPA. So Jacho looks at all of these, and there's other ones too, you guys. These are the primary ones, okay? So Jacho will take all of that information on how to safely run a clinic, and they'll put it in literature in a form that has to be followed by whoever wants to do business in the medical field. And if you want to get reimbursed by the state. And some private insurances do this. Most of them now are requiring you to be accredited. Now, if you're private pay and you think if you're a doctor, clinic, surgery center, and you're private pay, you may think you're exempt of any kind of regulation. You're not. It may not be Jacho, but it is DHS, and they're worse. Private pay facilities do get criticized when I say criticized, meaning, they get inspected. It's a critical adversarial nature when you're being inspected. You say yes, they say no, they say no, you say yes. It's adversarial. So it's a criticism sometimes of how you're doing work. So it's appropriate to say that. Jacho, being that it's private, being that it is a service that you paid for to be trained on how to do medical business safely, cannot arrest you. They can give you deficiencies, type 1s. They can even fail you. But I've never seen that. Let's be honest, I've never seen it. I've been doing this for 22 years now. Never seen it. So it's an interesting dynamic between the client and Jacho. It's a dance that has to be performed. And I've seen so many people get stressed out when Jacho shows up because they're misinformed as to the ability of and the extent of their reach. DHS is a government entity, state of California, and they will shut you down. They will arrest you. They will levy fines. They will bring the full force of a very, very wealthy organization. They got money. Let's just say it. They've got money on you. And you can't, if you're a doctor's office with 1 or 2 surgery centers, it's over. You're done. So Jacho, what they do is, it's kind of a soft yoke approach to keeping you compliant with DHS. And I say that with a lot of love, Jacho and DHS. Soft yoke meaning they don't really, if you don't they'll make sure, Jacho will make sure that you pass. DHS, and well, Jacho will make sure you pass by educating you on how to do things correctly. Now, when you're talking about doing things correctly, heck, what does that mean, you know? It's just like, it goes back again to what I was saying, the standards. You know, somebody has set forth the standards, and sometimes they're a bit convoluted and contradictory. And I have come across that where one agency, like let's just say Department of Health Services and the air quality people in California, they don't want you to run your generator for more than a certain amount of time. The Department of California says you have to run it for a certain amount of time because of life safety. The air quality people say you can't run it for a certain amount of time because of air quality, and they both can fine you. So what do you do then? You call me. And then I will not, you know, I will look at this process and I will give you guidance on how to get around it. Not around it so much as how to deal with two agencies that don't talk to each other and actually don't really like each other. DHS and Jacho don't really like to affiliate with each other. Everybody likes their power. You know, Jacho likes their power, DHS likes their power. State of California, you know, smog, the air quality people like their power. Everybody likes their power. So Jacho is a private company that I have heard some inspectors in California in confidence say, oh, we don't like them. Jacho happens to be the industry standard in California. Jacho is all over the world. When any facility wants to have credibility, they hire Jacho and they fly there. And you know, let me tell you how much clout Jacho has. I'm a war veteran of Iraqi freedom, and I got stationed in a classified location in the Middle East. I was in a bad situation, needed to go to the hospital, and I got sent to a hospital called the Hospitals of the Americas in Dubai. Not a bad gig, I'll tell you. Dubai's one heck of a city. I was there, I got medical attention, and once I recovered and I could think straight and look at things, you know, without being cross-eyed because of the medication and all that stuff, I was in there, and it was interesting to me how everywhere it said Hospital of the Americas, an accredited facility. So they, as an opportunity, because Americans there during the war was kind of an oddity, and they loved talking to you. And I got a chance to talk to some interesting people. It was kind of cool. I started asking them about the people that actually worked in the hospital that were part of the administrative side. I got some, you know, being military and all that, you get a little attention. So I had a little juice. And I asked them, I said, you know, what's the deal with the accreditation? Well, they explained it. They said, you know, there is no way, we don't really have anything like that in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi. This is United Arab Emirates, so we use the American standard because it is the best in the world. Let me say that again. It is the best in the world. Not the Swiss, not the French, not the Canadian. They don't call these people, they don't call these countries for help on being accredited. Now, all you people that love socialized medicine, please, you have no idea what could happen. Just do some, don't listen to me. Do your own research or do the right thing. If you really like socialized medicine, go live there for a little bit. Try it. Try to get some medical attention and see what happens. I'm just saying, if you've never been there and you don't know, then why are you talking? Because you read it on the internet? I live it. I've been there. I've been to these countries because of what I do. I actually go to these countries to help them because they cannot support themselves. So, okay, done with that rant. Sorry. Jacho is a private institution, a private company that people hire with in doctors' offices, clinics, hospitals, hire these people to come in and let them go through their facility and tell them, hey, everything's okay or not okay. You got a type 1, you got a type 2. Jacho will not arrest you. For all you people that are watching this video that don't know this, Jacho cannot arrest you. They can fail you. In a hospital structure, and this is my theory about Jacho and why it actually does work at the end of the day, there's intrinsic value in it. Because hospitals, let's just take a 40-bed facility. You know how complicated the day-to-day process on a 40-bed facility is? It's a small town, and everybody has to do their job. And how does one CEO watch everybody in that facility? Well, it's a trickle-down effect, right? Chain of command. You have your CEO, you have your CFO, you have your COO, and then you have your directors. Now, your directors, they run each department. Operating room, recovery, post-op. I mean, some of them are combined because you'll have an OR director running pre-op and post-op. But for our conversation, let's just say everyone has their own little department that they run, and they have to make sure. So how does the A-team, what the administrative team is referred to as the A-team, how do they know that the job's being done? How would you do it? Every 2 years, on the third year, you have a company come in like Jacho that is more like an audit than anything. And they call it inspection, which is good, but it's more like an audit. And they go through everything that is in their handbook and more. Because that year, sometimes you can't get 100%. Well, let me say something here that needs to be said. Advanced Biomedical, as far as I know, is the only company that has been involved in inspection that got 100%. We were part of Pacific Diagnostic Labs at the time, and we helped them go to a process. They hold the distinction of being one of the only ones, I think, in all of, might even be all of California, because I've never seen anybody get 100. Please, if I'm wrong, I apologize, but that is a distinction that doesn't happen, guys. It just doesn't. And they got it, and we were a part of it. 100% doesn't happen. So Jacho comes in, they make sure you're following the standards. They'll give you a rating. That rating is within a specification of what you can screw up and what you can't screw up, and what's going to help you pass, and what you did well, what you didn't do well. It's a debriefing. The first day is they come in and they start chatting it up with you. They tell you they're in the area, and then they come over, and the next day they start doing their thing. And they'll do tracers. They'll do it different ways to get the information they're looking for. And there it is. So if you are the CEO of Liberty Hospital and you want to get an idea of the health of your hospital, and are your directors doing their job, you do that, and you pay someone to come in, and they come through. And some people think that they can fool Jacho, and you can. I mean, it's not impossible to fool anybody, but consider this, and I say this to my clients with love. I say this. This is what these people do day in and day out. Some of them for 30 years have been doing this. They know where all the dead bodies are going to be buried. My first career choice was law enforcement. And I used to patrol a certain area so much that I got to know the dumpsters, I got to know the hiding places, I got to know where someone was. If I was chasing someone, where would I go to hide? I got to know it. That's what I'm saying here, guys. Jacho is so good at figuring it out, they get to know. And sometimes they just let you go. So let me give you some advice on this. If you're a new director of nursing in any facility, do not think that you can fool them with, you can try, but it's going to be very painful. They're going to turn the screws on you. You can't be perfect. Remember that. You cannot be perfect in a Jacho inspection. It doesn't work that way. We are the only ones that I know that have that distinction, 100%. And why do they not give you 100%? Because there's no such thing as perfect. But why did we get 100%? Because we did everything and went above. I'm convinced that we even set a new standard that even 8 years later is still being followed. It's insane. But so DONs, do not think you can fool them. This is the best thing that you can do during a Jacho inspection. If you are deficient, take your beatings. They just want to do their job by pointing out the deficiencies and making sure that whoever's paying them understands that they did their job. That's how they are. That's how someone knows that they're doing their job, by finding problems. They are getting paid to find problems. Now, if you are a director that is not that good at your job and you have a lot of deficiencies, I'm sorry. It's the things that you don't know that will get you. You do understand that. All new directors of nursing that I've ever talked to that were brand new did not understand what they didn't know. And doctors put them in that spot. And that is a horrible place to be put. I'm sorry. It's not that you're dumb. It's not that you're ignorant. It's just what you don't know is what's going to get you. That's always the way it is. So Jacho, getting back to Jacho, the last pieces of advice. So I'm going to review recap some things, and then I just give you advice. You get a type 1 with Jacho, don't take it personal, fix it. You get a couple, fix it. Those are deficiencies. They're going to give you a certain amount of time. They're not going to sit there and, what's going to happen is it's going to rise up to the top to the CEO, because they're always in on that meeting, that exit interview. They're there. They want to know. This is their way of figuring it out. They know this, and I don't know if I'm sharing something I shouldn't be sharing, but this is what it is. It's an internal audit. And as far as I know, it's unlike environment of care meetings. I think that it's not public information. EOC is public information, environment of care, but I don't think Jacho is. I could be wrong on that, because there's some HIPAA things in there, and that's where it gets a little gray for me. So at the end, when they're doing the exit interview, they're telling everybody that matters in that facility what was good and what was bad. And you are given a certain amount of time to fix it. You want a Jacho inspector to move on and leave you alone? Learn humility. Say, yes, did not know, please educate me. I am here to learn, I want to do it right. These things, important. If you don't have an answer, do not try to BS the process. Say, I don't have an answer, but I can find it for you because I know where to get it and how much time do I have. That works. Don't you want to hear that? If you go to your mechanic and you ask your mechanic, well, what do you think's going on? Why does that rattle? And he says to you, it's because your radiator bearings are bad. Well, that's a BS line. You know that the radiator doesn't have, well, I hope you know that the radiator doesn't have bearings. They're making it up. Now, if they say to you, I don't know, I got to look a little deeper, but we'll figure this out, and I'll give you an estimate, I'll give you a quote, and, don't worry about it, it'll be taken care of. You'll have your car in the next couple of weeks. So that right there is more comforting than hearing a lie. And Jacho inspectors are the same way. They want to hear you say, if you don't know, I don't know, but I can figure it out, or how do I figure it out, or what do you want me to do? And then you come to us. and you say, hey Ray, I need help because this went wrong over here. If it has to do with something with your medical instrumentation, and even if it's not, I can help you. I'm actually can put you in the right direction. Medical gas, anything you want, we're there. So I hope that at least it gave you some understanding of Jacho and what it really stands for, who they are as a institution. It's really long and drawn out. I apologize. I mean, I can go to, I'm going to put out a video about DHS. I'm going to put out a video about AAMI. I'm going to put out a video about NFPA 99 or NFPA in general. These are things that, some of them are government and some of them are private, but they are institutions that are relevant to our healthcare industry. And I hope it was educational, and if you like it, please put a thumbs up. If I over-explained things or got off track, I apologize. You probably should watch it a couple of times just so you get an idea what I'm trying to say. There's some good knowledge in here, guys. There really is. And as always, be nice!